The film opens with a quiet scene. In a church in Budapest, Hungary. A woman kneeling in front of candles. Looking at it, I thought I was praying for something very sincere. But then a man came forward, kneeled down next to her, and now it's revealed that they don't pray. It's actually an underground transaction. The man asked her to put his wallet coding under the pillow. The money will be transferred after the transaction. The blog above is confirmed. The woman heard that. She thinks the money has to be paid on the spot. Instant payment request, and threatened not to trade at all. And I'm going to leave if I don't get the money. The man tried to stay calm, tell her to slow down, but I can't say more. Then the woman came out of nowhere. He hit him in the head and ran away. She's rushing through narrow alleys. Go to a tattoo shop. He jumped out the window and threw out his jacket to cut off his tail, finally joining the crowd in a bar, and disappear over the radio. Someone reported that she was running in the direction of Rutledge. Not long after Rutledge appeared, he quickly caught her and took her. The crypto wallet is worth about $70 million. He confirmed that everything was done and the situation. Meanwhile, in the US Capitol, when the White House staff hurry up and wake the president, Daniel Sultan, they reported that her daughter Serena had escaped. Turns out, Serena hacked the system itself. Security to leave without being detected. The president woke up in anger, immediately ordered the Secret Service to act. Frankly, that morning, surely someone will pay the price. Not long after, the Secret Service tracked down Serena and brought her back. By order of the president, Serena's entire outfit, from encryption devices to phones, they've been seized. She was taken to the detention room and was very upset. Serena thinks she's about to turn 18. You have the right to go out like a normal person, but the president doesn't accept that. If there is no protection, Derek looks after you. We also support this decision and emphasize that the protection of children is essential. Serena did not deny her abilities. You say that the system, the president's security has a lot of vulnerabilities. So much so that you can hide out with 10 different ways. The president replied that that intelligence should have been used for better things. Serena feels her life. It's like being locked in a cage. It's no different than living in a zoo. She also mentioned that she was controlled like that. But I've never run away because I only have friends online. My brother explained that he knew Serena fled, but deliberately didn't say. Finally, my husband and I decided to punish them. Serena objected. I thought I was old enough to make my own decisions. The argument stopped when it was nearly dawn, and people are asked to go on vacation. The next morning, Sultan is a 6-year veteran. Appeared on the judo floor and withdrew, her close bodyguard. During training, you're still upset about Serena last night. Rudy admits Serena is smart, but Susan thought her daughter was too reckless. Rudy taught her how to borrow the enemy to keep balance, and Susan responded with neat counterattacks. It shows toughness and determination. She stressed that she couldn't get hurt. Just before the G20 summit, ask about the knee. She assured me everything was fine. In the office, President Susan continues discussions with Finance Minister Joanna. She talked about the difficulties ahead of the G20. The lack of support from the Prime Minister, Oliver Everest. People who are not very sympathetic with strong female leaders. Susan was worried. It's going to be very difficult to reach a consensus without. She was asked if she could sleep after the incident. Serena ran away or not. Right after that, the designers brought the costumes out and showed her. They talked about what to wear to the reception. From striking red to choosing shoes, sell for enough comfort. Sue Frequency. Make it clear that you want the world. Pay attention to your plan, not appearance. When it's about time to start, staff schedule reminder. And she started to prepare to go. President Sue Frequency. He appeared at a press conference on the occasion of the G20. In the speech, she stressed that, as the world's 20 richest countries, it's time for them to solve the severe hunger crisis, the most important in 10 years. She talked about the situation of farmers in sub-Saharan Africa, where they have no access the banking system as developed countries. So whenever you need to buy seeds or supplies, they can only rely on the small amount of cash they have. Contribution from that fact. Sue Frequency came up with a solution as a digital currency, easy to use. She ended her speech with the words of her uncle. Emphasize that the important thing is not to give, it's about giving it to someone else. Self-sustaining through this joint plan. She called on all leaders to attend. G20 joins. As the air rapidly changes direction, when you go into the Q&A section, a reporter suddenly mentioned paragraph recorded of Serena scene. Your daughter is not old enough. I was caught in a bar. Georgetown without protection. Then they were taken away by the Secret Service. Susan only answered briefly that your family will handle this on their own. But the pressure doesn't stop there. Another reporter kept asking the question, doubted her ability to ensure national security if even your family can't manage it. Susan was quiet for a moment, decided to end the press conference. That night at dinner, The monk's family announced that the weekend plan yours has been cancelled. She decided to bring it all together. Dual sports to attend the G20 summit. Serena was not satisfied. My mother only cares about images. Before the hit, she angrily left the dining table in her own room. I often sit and watch the news, playing back a video of Serena in a bar. That's been spreading rapidly on social media. Just bandaged a painful knee. She admitted that she was really tired, both physically and mentally. On television, Sue's conference was sharply criticized, considered ineffective, and get no respect from foreign leaders. Derek turns off TV and tries to comfort his wife Susan. She admitted that she felt her daughter. They seem to hate me. Derek gently reassured, said that's very normal in adolescence, and claimed that one day, Serena will understand. On Air Force One towards the G20 summit, Susan and the Minister of Finance, Joanna, continues to discuss strategy. Jonah believes that he will influence the position of France. If you want to keep the alliance, they have almost no other choice. John also reminded the Sultan that we shouldn't put too much pressure on these countries. Master, at that time, think about your political journey. Remember, the election was attacked with campaigns, negative advertising. He's the one who can start a war. She used to feel disheartened. When you compare yourself to war heroes, he lost in a nomination. However, the relationship was later repaired. Susan told Joanna that they never really stopped being friends, and it's resilience. That's what got them to where they are today. To women that, just a century ago, didn't have the right to vote. I'm currently on Air Force One, towards a meeting that's global in scope. Then an employee walked in, announced that the Vice President, Era Mosley, and CEO, Michael, is ready for the security meeting. Susan agreed and started the call. In the report, Michelson said there was a marked increase in violent language, targeting factors related to money, digital, on the president's agenda. Susan immediately asked how serious the threat was. Michelson said, the hotel where the conference is held was built as a fortress. However, the host country lacks experience. They've mobilized more support from a private security company. The Sultan did not have much faith. Private security contractors are being reticent. But Jonah, that the security forces have been inspected for 6 months. It is considered reliable. With coordination between the Secret Service and the Special Forces, the president's security is being closely guarded. Vice President, he added that the security team, it's even spread throughout the neighborhood. Wedding rooms to ensure the highest level of safety. Sultan can only hope for everything. It will go as planned. In Cape Town, South Africa, the helicopter carrying Rutledge landed and was an agent to pick up. You both recognize each other like old teammates. We've been through a tough battle together, where they used to run out of ammunition and get stuck in the sand. Russell was quite surprised when Russell flew gasoline and agreed to cooperate. Thank you for supporting the company's aircraft. Remember that those present here used to be Russell's former subordinates. Now they have to confront with the power itself. They've fought dirty wars before. Finished talking, Wesson led Black Bottom go to the hotel where the event will take place. The whole area is almost closed. Security is not easy to get into the next morning. President Susan's motorcade enters the hotel. G20 organization with strict escort force. They're managed by the Hotel Melicon by La. Receive and give Susan's family an electronic out card. These cards are used to control and track movement inside the hotel. Serena expressed doubts about the safety level of this card system, but through Latron, that everything is very well designed. He even joked that if Serena tried to run away, you will miss all the good food in the hotel. It's almost time for the main event. The areas can start. Boston and security cordon. Check thoroughly. The president's guards are going through every wall, every corner of the room to make sure there's no danger. In the presidential room, Derek looked at his wife's red dress and can't hide the admiration. They joke about high heels. Call it an ancient torture tool. They encourage each other and remember the moment. She saved Derek in a dangerous situation. Then the president walked into the conference room without wearing Kia high heels. Guard group leader, it is confirmed that there are only security forces is allowed to stay. Display systems show all legal weapons are all registered under the name of the president appeared. The press was immediately bombarded with questions about the joint plan. She replied firmly, the dollar is not weak, and she's not going to let AI steal her story. Derek tried to calm the air by joking that the reporters are ruining your date with your wife. Finance Minister Joanna responded, it shows that big wins. It can only be achieved through cooperation. She introduced Alina Roma, new head of the International Monetary Fund. Jonah said straight up that Alina was the one who leaked it. Plan details for communication, calling Alina a cold capitalist, and remind you to focus on the heavy lifting. In front of Derek, he advised his wife to try to influence the Prime Minister, Oliver Everest, and I'll take care of the kids. Jonah left, Derek stayed with Susan. The security team then asked the press to leave the room. In the security control room, the agents noted that tonight, there are only protective forces. He was allowed to appear in the presidential palace. Susan went to talk to Prime Minister Oliver. She was praised for her appearance and responded politely. Oliver said that in diplomacy, art lies in that. Make the enemy feel comfortable. Before making a big request, you're like a little wolf. Alone with your own plans, acknowledge her perseverance, but also reminded that it's not that AI also likes to work bulldozers. If Sue's plan is successful, that would be a real victory. I said, buy her a drink. Back to the control room. John went to tell Cho Ruthless that the outside team, the signal is ready. Ruthless reception of information with equanimity. It wasn't long before the system started counting down. Only 40 seconds before the action begins. In a different area, the photo shoot is happening. The photographer asked people to smile, that they're recording a moment of history. He took a few more pictures and thanked everyone. John adjustment system so that the doors only open with their ID cards. The display confirms that the door is locked. Rolex signaled that the entire phone wave and the wireless network at Dual Sports will be disconnected within BA-1. At the same time, a bartender serves the food cart. Go to the front of the room. Dancing inside, the food cart turned out to be hiding a gas canister. After pushing the car into place, the waiter in that room and the undercover agent get in the elevator and wear a respirator. One of them uses a cell phone. Activate the poison gas. Downstairs, the landmine disposal wife is in position. Bomb disposal teacher confirm that the outer security gates, they're all locked up. In the control room, Rutledge pressed the trigger button. The system starts to connect. And then there was an explosion in the room where US Special Forces are stationed. They killed all the people inside. The hotel immediately fell into chaos. A security guard panicked when he heard the explosion. Go to check. In the midst of that chaos, the president sat still. Take care of husband and children. The prime minister asked what was going on, but right now, no one has a clear answer. In the elevator, the guard urged him to get down now, but she is determined not to leave without her children. In another area, the president's children are protected by bodyguards. Keep away from the window. Serena and Danny, they started moving down the hallway to find their way out. He was ordered to stand still. If the situation is not safe. In the control room, Rutledge looked at the fallen guards. Because of the cold and toxic gas, Oliver realized that they were under attack. Everyone in the room tried to get together to understand what's going on. Susan noticed that the guards seemed to be guarding the door. Go in, more than protect them. Oliver was upset. It's absurd to think that everything is going on. They say that their forces should be. We had to break into the river a long time ago. Susan asked about Tim and withdraw the explanation that the first explosion on the east wing. In the wedding room. Ideal location if that AI wants to ruin the party. So the rapid response team is capable became the first target. Boston rushed into the control room. After learning of the explosion in the field, he confronted Rutledge. Request an explanation of the security flaw. Rutledge just nodded in acknowledgement. Then he pulled a knife and crashed it into Boston. In other areas, the mercenary spirits began to radiate. Control the staff, and 6 control each room. Dragging the unconscious, check the position of the president's children. Sue frequently asked, let's see what security teams got into this room. He replied that only 4 teams entered. From the US, China, Russia, and Turkey. They concluded that it was safe for now. At least until things get worse. Edward Rutledge, with the mercenaries at the same time, straight into the room. The Prime Minister Oliver started to breathe. I thought everything was okay, but only a few seconds later, I got out. Is the mastermind. He immediately asked to be taken out. When the Russian security chief stood up, he said he would take his president away, and they have no right to stop it. Rutledge did not say a word. Shot and killed him. The whole room immediately fell into chaos. The mercenaries started arresting the ladies, ordered to separate the leaders from their companions. They're all cornered in a corner of the room, and the gunfire was everywhere. Chief Agent Mahoney, withdraw immediately, give orders to those around. Meanwhile, President Susan panicked and called out Joanna's best friend and finance minister. In the midst of chaos, Jonah gets caught and dragged away. Susan tried to chase him, but couldn't. Oliver panicked, asking where they should go. Because it feels like you're going to die. Susan said there's a door behind the bar. She grabbed a fire extinguisher and threw it away while drawing fire at it to create a distracting explosion. Make way for them to escape. 5 people managed to get into a temporary safe zone, including Sultan President withdrawn by Manny bodyguard case. Prime Minister Oliver Everest. Director of the International Monetary Fund, Elena Romano. And the First Lady of South Korea, Min Seo-sultan, immediately asked everyone to remove the conference bracelet. Because there's a tracking chip inside, Schott said that I've found a way out of the building blueprints. That you've been involved in building. I used to praise you. Maybe you just saved them all. But right in front, a mercenary is questioning a chef. To extract information, see where the AI is hiding? Help and Sultan quickly discussed the plan to defeat. 2 armed soldiers are guarding the door. She assured me she still knew how to fight. I used a gun 25 years ago. Although help is not completely assured, Susan claims that she is the president of the United States. Order. When stress is at its peak, Haniel suddenly discovered a drainage pipe and slide down to the laundry. One by one, slips followed by somewhere else. A mercenary discovered the Sultan's children. But, at the right time, Derek showed up and saved the children in time. Meanwhile, Rutledge entered the room, where the team is in detention. The national representatives, A Jr. reported that they had captured 18, more than 20 leaders. Only the President of the United States and the Prime Minister Rutledge are still angrily why it had happened. The soldier replied that they found the hideout of the 2 kids. Black coldly said that President Susan, it is the center of all problems. Order to be made. Bring the other 2, and at all costs find out. Put the President of the United States in front of him with a warning. Don't make him 7. Derek did everything he could by using spray cans tied together. The rope to descend from. That's when I realized Agent Perry was dead. Trying to protect the kids, Derek and his children hurriedly blocked the door to avoid being pursued. But when I found that the wire from the spray was too short, they were forced to change direction. Move to another room. Serena quickly led her brother. Men follow the balcony to the next room. Derek follow right behind. As soon as they escaped, the enemy entered. They thought the whole family was downstairs. You should immediately notify your partner and chase him back to the President and her team. Remote withdrawal observation. The enemy is still searching the area, especially the east entrance. The whole team started preparing for the next escape plan. Try to keep everyone calm. And they started to introduce through quickly to each other. Also recognizes this is not just a case of chaos. It's probably a conspiracy from inside Russo that almost the entire security died after the first explosion. The US does not have a military base in South Africa, so it's going to take hours for reinforcements to arrive. That's too risky. When you're surrounded by high-level people, the only way now is to go through each layer of guard yourself. Long distance, about 1.6 kilometers. To do that, they need an armored car to withdraw the proposal to use the Bix, a tactical vehicle disguised as a vehicle. President Susan's luxury sedan. The car is in the basement, but to get there, they have to go through the service aisle and take the elevator. The problem is, they've removed all the security tags. Even if you keep it, it is very likely that the enemy also changed the access code. In the meantime, Rutledge starts live streaming on YouTube. Right from the G20 meeting room, he presented himself as the head of the organization. They took control of the conference by force. It would be considered a terrorist. Russell insists they're not terrorists. It's those who don't accept silence in the face of global injustice. He accused the world leaders, deprived of rights and property, of the people to serve the Ho elites. Russell announced his organization will publish evidence of cases fraud committed by the US and its allies to steal the resources of vulnerable nations, to strengthen their currency and manipulate it. The global monetary system. He is especially, to quote President Susan's new monetary plan, that it's going to give you full control of money, of the people at hand, under the global flower. This broadcast was immediately received by the vice and senior officials watched. Harrow immediately ordered a ruthless identity verification face recognition system. He was quickly identified as Edward Ruthless, former Special Forces soldier from Australia. Even if there's a record in the Bureau of Investigation, US Federal Rutledge still gets into the security system through a private security company, PEX Global. Because his background looks absolutely clean on the outside. In a message to the public, Rutledge urges people to protect themselves and the ones I love. He advised the people withdrawing money from banks and the stock market, then switched to crypto. Because I think this money can't be destroyed by the Flower Control. He also threatened to kill world leaders if any country tries to stop him. At the hideout, Derek and the kids are watching that broadcast. I told you to keep moving. He promised the children's mother will protect them if things go too far. I promise to keep you safe at all costs. Urged the group to leave quickly. Back to the Sultan. Your Prime Minister, Oliver, began to lose patience in the face of the critical situation. They close the door and wait for reinforcements. But the Sultan insisted that the conference has been completely controlled by the mercenaries. If you want to survive, you have to follow me. Oliver protested bitterly. The right to order must belong to you, and stressed that Susan, not the person responsible. He pulled in with a calm voice. They said if they want to stay, they can. Susan replied that the place was no longer safe and she won't abandon them. According to her, the attackers will definitely search the entire hotel and sooner or later, find them. Oliver refused. Let's say the frequency is exaggerating. Susan said that she was witness enough disasters to understand the level of danger. Now, Oliver sarcastically mentions that Susan once saved a child from the collapsed building. Say that image. It makes you look like Captain America. After the land photo transmitted, Susan replied only briefly and said that if Oliver wanted to stay, he'd stay. Elena Romano and the First Lady of South Korea decided not to stay. They said they'd rather follow Susan's lead. I'd rather keep arguing with Oliver. And then they asked Susan where the way down to the garage was. Meanwhile, in the conference room, Rutledge started talking to world leaders. Are being detained. He claims that tonight's show has changed. But if you do it right, follow the instructions, no one will be harmed. One by one, they're called in front of the camera to read exactly the prepared passage. He even offered to provide a translator, because he thinks his people, I can't speak Asian. He replied that he spoke English. Refused to read that passage. He realized that this is a special passage, contains all the letters in the alphabet. Lee expressed concern that the video can be used to train artificial intelligence, creating fake videos. It makes them look like they're saying anything. Rutledge replied with sarcasm. Said that of course, Koreans are very tech-savvy, but Lee was determined not to cooperate. Ruthless seems to accept rejection. It's cold. Ruthless, unexpected handout straight in the ear of the Korean president, Lee Yong-ho, in front of everyone. It caused the whole room to immediately panic. Jonah couldn't hold back her anger. Ruthless is an animal. Ruthless never denied it. You're proud. It's the world leaders themselves. He's created him through dirty wars, corruption, and personal gain. He accused them of not creating anything beyond division and hatred. Rebuttal system. That if they're really that bad, then Rutledge didn't need to use counterfeiting technology. Face and voice. Rutledge just smiled, see politics as a big play, and said they'd all become famous. Finally, one leader after another have to follow his instructions, read passages prepared to lead the way. Public opinion, somewhere else. In the emergency meeting room, Vice President Harrod, with senior officials, listened to reports from military advisors that the person behind the incident has taken control of the entire surveillance systems are disabled. They have no eyes at all. Inside the conference area, this situation is judged to be more than a coup. It's a global coup. They still don't know the status of US President, and with world leaders being arrested, any rescue operation that resulted in casualties for the hostages, it can be considered a declaration of war. Harrow has ordered an emergency contact the remaining 19 countries to build the common plan. Almost at the same time, the defense minister showed a paragraph vi of the German prime minister appeared to express support for the global digital currency plan. At the same time, acknowledged the system people's movements. Harold immediately raised questions about the authenticity of paragraph 6. Military advisor Paul Sun suspected it was a fake CEO that it doesn't matter anymore, because its impact is large enough to cause chaos and it could destroy global currency markets. And then another video came out. This time, the Prime Minister of France, in which he said that they can take advantage of the situation, consolidate power, and get rich, even hold power forever. Look at all that's going on. Harrow concludes that in a world where fake news is stronger than real news, an extreme disadvantage. Back to the retreating side, subordinates reported that the global media was outraged. Financial markets plummet without breaking, and their plan is working. Their cryptocurrency prices skyrocketed, even by BA in just 15 minutes. Rutledge understands that for maximum profit, he still needs the President of the United States. Her location is still unknown. Meanwhile, Susan tried to get to the basement by a service elevator to reach the monster armored car, the presidential limousine, but the helicopter control panel doesn't work. Help alert that the hoist, it cannot be used without a security card. Rubber frequency recommended climbing ceiling hoist for someone to call up from above. Michelle is worried that her age will slow the team down. Should have hesitated at first, but the enemy's footsteps echoed, forced them to act now. The group quickly climbed to the elevator ceiling, support each other one by one. Suddenly, the elevator moves down, and Oliver got tangled up in the cables. Enemies in the elevator detect and stop before they can react. Susan jumps down to attack retreat Lau under support. A fierce hand-to-hand battle took place. Susan was almost strangled to exhaustion, but Alina managed to wrap a piece of cloth around the attacker's neck. Give Susan a chance to grab the gun and shoot. She also saved it in time by shooting down the rusty man. After his fight, but tense, the elevator goes down to the ground floor. Susan picked up another gun from the fallen enemy and asked people to keep moving. She shot very well. Susan asked if he was hurt. Just say that the thing is hurt. It's my feelings. Oliver is no longer in doubt. He began to appear disobedient, ready to keep running with the card. Security just got it. On the other side, Derek's looking for a way out with the kids. The kids asked why the police hadn't come. Eric explained that there was too much high-level hostage, so outside forces can't attack directly. I assured my children that my mother, they're definitely acting. never just stand still waiting. They realized that the entire communications network had been cut off. However, Serena, there must be at least one active network because the terrorists can still communicate. That means there's a hidden wireless network. I remember the previous Vi still working. Serena pointed to the antenna and suggested remove components from the system. Satellite TV for network access. Babe climb reach antenna, while others remind you to be careful. Some people joke that I started to suspect Serena. Is she really my sister? Serena takes advantage of a canned snacks to increase reception. It's a makeshift device, like an ancient antenna. Serena saw Darden, a bodyguard agent who betrayed, and I'm with a terrorist group. Derek immediately told the children to hide. Serena remained focused on completing the connection to protect her child. Derek stepped out and surrendered. He said he had no weapons and questioned many. Don't talk about betrayal. Darden admitted that he was not loyal. Derek, there is Sultan. They're against the president's policy because she thinks she's prioritizing farmers, African than American interests. That's when Serena sent the signal out. Darden didn't know and keep pressuring Derek to reveal his position. Derek's kids said they didn't know when they were threatened. Fortunately, Serena and I got out of hiding. Swinging outside the building, garden orders, Derek D's escort. At the Vice President's command center, Harrow got the report that the American carrier group is approaching. It'll be there in 3 hours. Even though working with allies is difficult, they suddenly got an email from an unsafe network in Cape Town. It was sent by Serena. It says Derek has been arrested, Susan is free, and Darden is a traitor. Meanwhile, ruthless tracking international reaction in order to accelerate the next phase. The nurse is trying to stop the bleeding and take the bullet out of the drawer. Ask Alina to help with the bandages. 2 South African agents disguised as hotel workers, Melokun and Lesedi, appeared and admitted to installing people in the hotel. It's part of their government's plan. They promised to find their family, and I recommend using Radio 8 because the terrorists don't monitor any channels. From here, the chain of events happened in a row. Coordinated counterattacks against the security system. Rescuing the hostage, he shot and killed the Australian Prime Minister. The frequency continues to fight. Face-to-face with Ruthless in the final confrontation on the roof of the building. Crypto wallet. The key to Ruthless's power was stolen. In the moment of decision, Susan is willing to sacrifice herself to save her daughter. The helicopter fight ended when Ruthless fall from a height and died. Serena was saved safe and hugged her mother. Sometime later, G20 summit to be held in South Africa. Daniela Sultan appeared as the guest of honor. Congratulations from the leaders. He was named Person of the Year for preventing a global catastrophe, and the movie ends there. Thank you for following up to the last minute. If you find this story worth pondering, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to channels so as not to miss out reviews in the near future.